Good morning and welcome to our live streaming service here at Straight Truth Faith Church, where we are equipping believers to walk by faith. We welcome those of you who are watching on T.L Givner TV, Facebook Live, and those who are listening on our conference call. And also, we say to the mothers, Happy Mother's Day, or should I say, blessed Mother's Day. And we're thankful to all of the mothers, all of you who are online this morning. And we also want to give a special shout out to our graduates, those that have completed the 12-year of education and getting ready to go now to the next level of their life. And we have one here at Straight Truth, and that's Trelanda Williams. So we give you a shout out this morning. Bless you, girl. And we're thankful for you. And we are excited about all the rest of the graduates and all those who are online. So we're going to, while I'm talking, you can prepare your communion elements. I am going to pray, and then while I'm praying, you can have your elements prepared, and we're going to take Holy Communion, and then we're going to get ready for the Word. This morning, we're going to deal with some things, and there are, as we meditate on what's a good message, what kind of message to deal this morning for Mother's Day. And I don't like to deal with anything sad. I don't like to get into that vein because some of us, it doesn't take much to push us over the edge. And so what we try to do is give a profound message that will uplift, encourage, edify, as well as challenge, as well as correct in our thinking in so many different ways. So this morning, I want to call your attention to Exodus chapter 1. Exodus chapter 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the last verse of Exodus, and then I'm going to go into chapter 2. And I don't have time to deal with the whole chapter of Exodus 1, but it's a good chapter to read, to put together what I'm going to lay out this morning. But in Exodus chapter 1, verse 22, and Pharaoh commanded all his people, saying, every son who is born you shall cast into the river, and every daughter you shall save alive. Chapter 2, verse 1. And a man of the house of Levi went and took as a wife a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bore a son. And when he saw that he was a beautiful child, she hid him 3 months. But when she could no longer hide him, she took an ark of bulrushes for him, dabbed it with asphalt and pitch, put the child in it, and laid it in the reeds by the river bank. And his sister stood afar off to know what would be done to him. Then the daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe at the river. And her maidens walked along the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the reeds, she sent her maid to get it. And when she opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the baby wept. So she had compassion on him and said, this is one of the Hebrew children. Then his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call a nurse for you from the Hebrew women? that she may nurse the child for you? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go. So the maiden went and called the child's mother. Then Pharaoh's daughter said to her, take this child away and nurse him for me, and I will give you wages. So the woman took the child and nursed him, and the child grew. And she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses, saying, because I drew him out of the water. Amen. I want to talk from the subject this morning, the grace of motherhood. The grace of motherhood. And so, as we enter in this morning, we want to explore some things that are very profound. First of all, as I started in chapter 1, I started at verse 22. And from that, there was Joseph, and Joseph had brought all of his siblings into Egypt. And I looked at it, there was the blessings on Joseph. And the children, verse 7 said, but the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, multiplied and grew exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. And so later on, there grew up that was raised up, that came into being a Pharaoh that did not know Joseph God. They became afraid of the Israelites because the Israelites began to multiply. And the Pharaoh decided to get rid of the baby boy, all of the boys, because the Pharaoh knew the seeds in the baby. So he put an announcement out to the maidens, to the midwives, that any boy came through to kill the boy, but if the girl came through, then the girl was to live. And so you can think about that, what's happened today. And so with that, now we go to chapter 2. And here it is that Moses was born. But because of the fear that was in the land, his mother took him and hid him beside the river. Now, that's alluding me to the fact of the text, the subject, brother, the grace of motherhood. The grace of motherhood. Grace is spiritual freedom that arises when you realize that life is a gift. Grace is unmerited divine assistance given to humans for their regeneration or sanctification. Grace is a virtue coming from God. These are just some definitions of grace, and there's many more. Grace is found in the person of Jesus Christ. He is the grace of God that's revealed to the world. Grace is grace and excellence or power that's granted by God. And grace is the only thing that gives us power to stand. Now, Moses' mother was a great example of what I would call success. She exercised faith, and the effects was immediate. She was able to stay in his life by nursing him for Pharaoh's daughter. It is likely she planted seeds of his history and kept him reminded of who he was. And she probably reminded him how greatly God had worked in his life. Notice this. A child's first teacher is its mother. A child first teacher is its mother. Now, when I say, and when I looked at this, I'm going to deal with the good side of a mother, but there are some images, there are some scriptures that deal with mothers that was not so good. For instance, go to Matthew 20:20. Matthew chapter 20 and 20. Now I'll come back and deal with what I'm going to deal with this morning. In Matthew 20 and 20, and it says, then the mother of Zebedee's son came to him with her sons, kneeling down and asking something from him. And he said to her, what do you wish? She said, grant that these two sons of mine may sit, one on your right hand and the other on the left in your kingdom. Jesus answered, said, you do not know what you ask. Are you able to drink the cup that I'm about to drink and be baptized with the baptism that I'm about to be baptized with? And they said to him, we're able. Now, notice here, James, this mother wanted favor and overlooked the other disciples. That's a mother, though. And then there's another one that's very negative in Matthew 14. Go to Matthew 14 and 13. Matthew 14. And so, thank God for good mother. Matthew 14 and 6. I'm talking about now, remember that the influence of a mother can be good or it can be bad. So important to understand. Again, I said the child's first teacher is his mother. And this can be good or it can be bad. In Matthew 14 and 6, and when Herod's birthday was celebrated, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod. Therefore, he promised with an oath to give her whatever she might ask. So she, having been prompted by her mother, see what I'm saying? Notice she having been prompted by her mother, said, give me John the Baptist's head here on a platter. That wasn't a good mother at all. So you see what I'm saying? And thank God, they're bad and they're good. So when you go through the Bible, you see many different images. And so, and there are many others of good, and then there was mothers that's not so good. And then but we see from society how the enemy can work through the bad, and God can work through the good. So important to understand. Now, as we go into the text this morning, let's look at this. First of all, life is a miracle. That's the first thing you got to understand. Life is a miracle. Yes, it is. Now, hidden by the Nile River bank is a child that played a key role in history. God knows and God understands the bitterness of life. Women and mothers are important to God. Now, look at Psalms 139 and verse 13. Psalms 139 and verse 13. Psalms 139, verse 13. For you formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb. I'll praise you, for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works that my soul knows very well. Verse 15, my frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. And verse 16, you saw my substance being yet unformed, and in your book they were all written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them. That's a miracle. Look at it. Only God can do that. Then go to Ecclesiastes 11 and 5. Ecclesiastes 11 and 5. Verse 5 says, that's not the one. What we're going with? Yeah, at least Ecclesiastes 11 and 5. As you not know what is the way of the wind, or how the bones grow in the womb of her who was with child, so you do not know the works of God who makes everything. Now isn't this how the bones grow, or how the bones grow in the womb of her who is with child? That's a miracle. And there are mothers on the line, there are mothers here. There are those of you that's in medical profession, you have how it does, the chemistry of it, but only God can do that. So that's why I said life is a miracle. Now, in Moses, we can see many things. First of all, God needed a deliverer for his people. God needed a deliverer for his people. And if you go back and look at chapter 1 of Exodus, you'll see that and when Joseph came into Egypt, the covenant that God cut with Abraham, the covenant blessings were still on the people. That is why they was exceeding so well. The Hebrews was exceeding. And because the blessing of the covenant was on them. And so, but yet the enemy got in. And so God was needing a deliverer. And God's covenant promises were in Moses on the Nile River. See, God's power was invested in Moses. Why? Because he was a prophet. He was a lawgiver and a leader. And if you look at it, now this baby on the Nile, in a basket, all of this was in it. And look what the enemy wanted to destroy. Even, we look at it, we see Moses, he wrote the first 5 books of the Bible. Genesis, Exodus, etc. Moses was a writer. The hand of God was upon him, even before he was born. That's why God has a protecting and a providing hand. Not only then, but now. God's protecting and God providing hand is upon us today. Notice, Moses spent 40 years in Pharaoh's house, 40 years in the wilderness, and 40 years as a leader of God's people. That's a lot, that's 120 years. But now it took 40 years in Pharaoh's house. I get to that in a minute, show you why. 40 years in Pharaoh's house, 40 years in the wilderness. Getting prepared to lead God's people. And then Exodus 33:11. Put a pin in that. Exodus 33 and 11. And, you know, I'm not trying. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Exodus 33:11. So the Lord spoke to Moses face to face, as a man speaks to his friend. What a relationship. So the Lord spoke to Moses face to face as a man speaks to his friend. Boy, that's powerful. That's powerful. Now, the second thing, now remember I told you that life is a miracle. Second thing, life has a message. Life has a message. Now, the purpose of God is hidden in man. The purpose. That's why when we don't understand life or our purpose, the enemy can abuse us because we were placed upon this earth for a purpose. Moses had a purpose for being born. His mother carried him with a purpose. And God knew the purpose. The purpose of God is hidden in man. Now, God allows time for the growth of a person. I just told you, Moses spent 40 years in Egypt and then 40 years in the wilderness. That's 80 years. But yet, the children had cried out unto God because of a poor taskmaster. But looks like God is not in a hurry. And if you look at it, God has to raise up somebody. And it took time. The investment that God put in Moses was great because he was to deliver his people. So God allows time for the growth of a person. And we can all attest to that. The graduates, it took you 12 years more. Let's kindergarten, make 13. It took you plus daycares, all of that to get to graduate. Now you're in another season. You're getting ready to go to college or to a job. And yet, that's another season. So when you leave out that season, you go into another season. And so life is full of seasons. And each one takes time. Very, very important. The next thing is God's plans and God's visions that's placed upon a person's life is always for someone else. Very important. God's plans and God's visions that is placed on your life is not just for you. It's always for somebody else. What God put in Moses' life wasn't for Moses. It was for somebody else. The grace God puts on your life, the anointing, is not for you only. It is to touch others. For instance, look at this COVID-19. We said social distance. No, it's physical distancing. It's keeping us apart. And this thing has got to end because we don't need to be apart too long. That's why, because, understand, purpose is, the enemy is after purpose. Why do you think the Pharaoh in chapter 1 of Exodus wanted to get rid of all of the baby boys? Look at history now. Look at history today. Our young men are dying. Drugs, jail, whatever. The enemy is after the seed. Very important. Notice, in chapter 1, Pharaoh said, let the girls live. Kill the boys. Very important to think about what I'm saying. That's why all lives matter. All lives matter. Yeah, black lives matter, all lives. Because out of one blood, God created us all. So, because we can't color code who has the purpose for me, God can use whoever he wants to be a blessing in this earth realm. And that's because God has the right, because God is the creator of life. Now, the next thing, God knows what he's doing. I know that don't sound right good sometimes, because sometimes we get impatient and we want God to come on through. And sometimes it's like God is taking so much time. You know, it's taking so much time. You really want it right now. You want the blessing. You want the manifestation. And look like God is not even moving. But God is grooming you. God is growing you. There's purpose in you. There's something you got to see while you're sightseeing in life. You got to see around you. I'll get to that in just a minute. Because it's important. Go to Jeremiah 1 and 5. Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 5. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. Yeah, God is good. Yes, he is. Jeremiah 1. Notice what it says. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Wow. So none of us here, we're not an accident. We are not an accident. Oh, it might have been a mishap in the conception. But once you hit this earth, God got a purpose for you. That's why if it was something that happened inappropriately, we're here now. And God got a purpose for us. Gotta understand that. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. So everybody in here, out there, before we were formed, that's why I gave those scriptures in Psalms to let you know, and Ecclesiastes to let you know that we are not alone. So you have to go back to the word, even when you feel lonely, depressed, and don't feel like life is going your way. You are not alone, because the word is what gives me hope. The word is what builds my faith. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you was born, I sanctified you. I ordained you a prophet to the nations. So the blueprint, the download is already is in the womb when the mother is carrying the child. He or she just has to now to be trained and grow and develop. But God, see, you thinking that you discovered when you grew up. No, it was already, and you walked into it as you grew up. Because now it's being revealed to you. Oh man, it's about that. Why? Because now notice in Jeremiah 1:5, I can say that because there is a future in every seed. Once you get that, there is a future in every seed. And there will be always warfare against the seed. So very important to understand. There is a warfare against the seed. And I can say this, I heard this in my spirit. I'm so glad my mother didn't give up on me. I'm so glad that my mother didn't abort me. See, all of us sitting here don't mean that the thought didn't come from a mother. But God allowed her to birth you. And you are here today for a purpose. Now notice what I said. There's warfare against the seed. Because Satan is always after the seed. He's always after the seed. I don't care what. If it's a seed, Satan out. See, it's a good seed because Satan knows seeds produce. Why is he after the seed? Because the seed carries the DNA of God for our deliverance. The seed carries the DNA of God for our deliverance. And that's why we have to have faith, to trust in God. See, man, when you go back and meditate, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Man, there's so much to that scripture. Why? Because just like a computer, the manufacturer of it knows what he or she put in it and knows how to operate it. God put life in us. He put the DNA of himself in us. We are made in the image of God. That's why Satan don't like. Well, Satan doesn't like God, but he can't touch God, so he try to touch his seed. That's why he try to destroy it. And that's why we have to understand life is precious. Because life has a message. A message is in life. The next thing. Life begets life. Life begets life. Life begets life. If you go back to Exodus chapter 2, verse 1. And a man of the house of Levi went and took as a wife a daughter of Levi. So the woman conceived and bore a son. And when she saw that he was a beautiful child, she hid him 3 months. Life begets life. A male, female come together and begets life. Very important. Life begets life. So important. Life begets life. Let me get on to motherhood. God knows what he has placed in every mother's womb. I'm saying something very profound this morning. God knows what he has placed in every mother's womb. He needed a mother. God needed a mother to carry his seed so that the seed can be born in the earth and to assist God in the work of God. Even Jesus needed a womb to go in. And Jesus was impregnated by Holy Spirit. The word was just that powerful. No man touched Jesus. The word did. And he was impregnated in the womb of Mary. A miracle. But he had to have a natural body to come through. And that mother, that's why in the Catholic you hear talk much about the Virgin Mary. Mother, the Mary of Jesus, because she carried a precious life. Now, let me say this, mothers, and I heard that. When you're carrying a child, that's precious cargo. You're carrying, you have carried precious cargo. You may be carrying precious cargo, or you may in the future carry precious cargo. That's God's seed you carry. So important. God allowed Moses to be trained and educated by some of the best. He learned math, reading, religious studies, music, science, language, astronomy, chemistry, engineering, arts, just to name a few. Look at Acts chapter 7, verse 22. NIV says, Moses was educated in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and was powerful in speech. Now, that wasn't no dumb man. Now, you go back to remember what I'm saying. It took him 40 years in Egypt. Who knows? Moses may have came out one of the university with a doctorate degree. We don't know. He was educated. Why would the word say Moses was educated in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and was powerful in speech? Now we're seeing why the time factor was there. As Moses was in Egypt, he was being trained. I said a few weeks ago, it's important to be trained. As leaders, men and women of God, even in your profession, whatever you do, you got to be trained. If you're an accountant, you need to be trained. If you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, whatever you do, you're a school teacher, whatever, you go to school to be trained. God is not against training. God is not against education because he knows those things. Those things help equip you. It's not the final analysis, but it's part of the equation that God's using. Thank God for teachers who taught us in the first, second, and third grade to learn how to read, to count, etc. And those things they taught in the early stage, guess what? We're still doing them today. We learn math, timetables. Timetables. But yet now you count money. You got to fix a budget. You work for people. You got to count money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over 10. If you can't count money, how can you keep up with it? You got to be educated. So there's a lot more in this text that I'm not saying. But God, and so God allows. If you think sometimes, you say, well, why did God take so long? Because in the fact of Moses going to school, he was learning all of the Egyptian ways. He was getting a panoramic view of everything about Egypt so that he knew the ins and outs, the workings. Because when God is training you, and while you are being trained, he wants you watching. He wants you seeing. He wants you looking. He wants you observing. He wants you paying attention so that when you come up to bat, you got something to say. Time is not wasted time when God is training you. He knows what he's doing. I said time is not wasted time when God is training you because he knows what he's doing. Amen. I said amen. See, and in that time frame of 40 years in Egypt, God allowed Moses to see, to hear, and feel the suffering of his people. Now, when we go, I don't have time to deal with this morning, but I had a couple of thoughts. I think about Nelson Mandela was in prison X amount of years. But in prison, his body was in jail, but his mind wasn't in jail. And even when he came out fighting. So you got to understand, even in that time frame, while it looks like they thought they had him, he was still educating himself. See, that's the key right there is, reading. What are you reading? Are you just reading junk? Or are you reading something to stimulate your thinking? See, you have to, that's very important. Are we reading something that we can grow from? Books, tapes, just like the Word of God. This book is not going to jump off its pages into you. Study to show yourself approved unto God, a worker that need not be ashamed, but rightly dividing the word of truth. Guess what? If you can rightly divide the word of truth, you can also wrongly divide the word of truth. And that's why he said, he that has ears to hear, let him hear. See, that's why I try to give you substance, something to make you think. I'm not concerned about your emotions. I am concerned about getting that word in you, stimulating your thought, getting your spirit hungry so that you can know who you are. You can rise above the circumstance in your life. What are we learning from COVID-19? While we're down, what are we learning? Are we learning that when we come up, that we can save, we can spend, and then we can sow? Are we learning that don't care how good you look on the outside, if you don't have no money saved, if you don't know how to handle your finances, you can be outdoors because this pandemic hit and nobody was expecting it? And then when we teach prosperity to people, they want to call us prosperity people. Well, I am. Because that's what God is about. It's making people's lives better. And that's why it's important. And that's why God puts in us what he wants the people to hear. Because all of us have a purpose. Let me move on. Because I can preach on that a little while longer there. Here's another thing about Moses. Moses never lost his identity. Oh, Lord. I don't have time to preach on that either. He never lost his identity. Because what? Our identity shapes the trajectory of our lives. Our identity does. See, the enemy wants nothing more than to take our identity captive. Because there is a battle for your identity. Clothes don't make you, you make them. $300 sneakers don't make you, you make them. We have an identity crisis. We try to do everything external to make us look acceptable rather than going on the inside of you to who you are in Christ. Once you find your identity of who you are, stuff on the outside don't change you. You got to find you on the inside of you. That seed, that DNA God put in you. You the one, not somebody else. We can edify you, we can encourage you, but you got to look down inside of you and face the real you. I like dressing, I like driving, I like all those things. But that don't make me. That's just a part of it. Because if I got to use that to make me, I'm still lost on the inside. See, I can have a lot of expensive stuff and still be empty on the inside. But if I'm full on it, if I'm filling myself daily, all the other things I put on is just attributes. But I got to know who I am, who God created me to be. What is my purpose in this earth? What's my assignment? To teach help, to talk about healing, to teach you to lay hands on the sick. The church must have an assignment Just like individual, we must have an assignment. What are you doing? Because if Moses never lost his identity. His mother did a good job in raising him. His mother did a good job in raising him. Notice, God allowed him to be adopted by a queen and raised by his own mother. How God set that thing up. She put a child in the little basket by the Nile. Here comes Pharaoh's daughter, her handmaids, and they saw his basket. When they opened the basket up, the child. But Moses' sister was standing on the side looking, and then went to her and said, do you need somebody to help? And look how God had the daughter to go get the mother of Moses, and Moses' mother raised him in the house of Pharaoh. Do you see God? And it didn't say in the text, but Moses' mama got blessed too. Oh yeah. And we still read about it. So God allowed, that's why, man, I said some weeks ago that adoption is just as strong as natural birth. A person adopts a child, a person won't have a child. You adopt that child into the family, that child got all the rights and privileges, the one that's been birth legally, but birth the mother father. The adoption is power. And we have been adopted into the royal family. We have been adopted into the royal, that's why our Galatians talk about it. Now we're royal, we're priests. We're royal priesthood, except because we have been adopted. Well, if you look at the scripture, if you've been adopted as a royal priesthood, why are you thinking love? Why are you talking love? Why are you acting love? Because you don't know who you are. Because you don't know who you are. Until you know who you are, then that's what you become. Very important. God has ways and means we'll never be able to figure out. And I like this about his mother. His mother used wisdom and stayed focused. She knew when to speak, and she knew when to be silent. Oh, that's all. She's all in the text. How you gonna raise a child in somebody else's house and take over? She just knew what to do. She knew when to speak and when to be silent. It's a lot in this text, and I don't see in the text where she turned Moses against Pharaoh's house or mother's house. Hebrews 11:24. I'm almost through. Hebrews 11. By faith, I like that. That's what it says. The son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to acquire greater riches than the treasures, for he looked for the reward. Now, he'd been adopted. I don't know how he knows of who he was. Mama kept saying, keep your head straight, son. Keep focused. See, it didn't say in the text. That's why you have to use your whatever he wanted to. He could have been an offer, but he to a better land. Oh, there were still problems. How you know? Because I was raised in the 60s. I was in there. I remember the Edmund Pettus Bridge. I was 12 or 13 years old during that time. Somewhere right now, God is raising up somebody else. That's why that life you carry, mother, on the inside of you is very precious. Because it took me, look how God has got somebody right now to lead. They're not ready yet, but he calls them to see. He calls them to observe. And when the time comes, oh, God knows what he's doing. And that's why mothers always remember there is an adversary. Always remember. There are many of you out there, you can be thankful that your mother didn't throw up her hands on you. Because some of us, as children, were not the best images at the time. Oh, yes, I'm one. I was not the best. But thank God for T.L Givner, who didn't give up on me. And everything that I fought against doing, fought against when she was raising me, going to church over and over, tired of it, and here I am doing what I didn't like to do because she kept the seed alive. She kept talking to God. Been gone many years now, but here I am doing what she groomed me because God saw in me a preacher, even when I wasn't thinking about preaching. Because God put the future in all of us to the seed. The worst thing to do is fight the process of what God has put in you. Do you want to go your way? But then you make life miserable to yourself. And that's why we don't have no peace. But when you get in the place where you're supposed to be, even when it's rough, God will give you the strength, the anointing, the wherewithal, the mercy, the grace to carry forth the assignment. I got to hurry close. That's what Proverbs 22:6 says. I'll go there real quick. Proverbs 22:6. Heard this all my life. And parenting, Lord, thank you, Tim. See, sometimes in parenting, we look and get mad at the child because the child is rebellious, the child is refusing, or the child is acting as a rascal. We don't understand it's not the child, it's the enemy working through the child to abort his or her future and purpose. See, you gotta see it. Some of you gave up on your children. No, don't give up on that child. That's a seed God put in that child for a future. Don't you know Satan don't like God, so he's gonna come against God through the seed? Oh, it's easy to throw up your hand. That's easy. Because you ain't got nothing else to do. And then Satan has all free access now. This is a little deeper. I want you to hear this. Proverbs 22, train up a child. Now, how many know that word? Train up a child the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Train him up. Oh, Lord. Some of you out there right today, remember when mama didn't drag you to summer school. She just told you to go. You didn't fight. Now, we're in a whole new generation. Don't want to go to church. Don't want to do anything. Don't give up on them. Don't give up on them. You got to see this bigger than you, mom. This is big. This fight bigger than you. I said this fight bigger than you. And Satan knows what he's doing. See, that's why we can get discouraged. And when you get discouraged, I don't care anymore. Well, my mother had a famous saying. I'm just going to put you in the hands of the Lord. And I said, Mama, please don't do that. See, I know she had ran out. I had ran her out. But she said, I'm going to put you. I said, all right, that's all right. We'll be back to you, Mama. Don't do that. I mean, I knew that man didn't play. No. But you see, they had a way of getting your attention because she knew that when her help ran out, she had some hidden help that could straighten me out. And then sooner or later, it was easy to walk up to Mama and apologize. Mom, I saw her. I should have came in a little later. I should have said, Mom, I saw her, Mom. Now, some of y'all are laughing, but you've been there right there too. Yeah, Mamas didn't play back in my day. Mamas did not play. When Mama said it, Mama meant it. Oh, thank God for them ideas. Thank God for them. Some of them gone on to glory. But their legacy and their life and their light is still shining. So God be the glory. Train up means you have a responsibility as a parent. Do you not know COVID-19 has made more people become parents? Some drinking, but they got the parent. They got a bottle of wine, but they got the parent. Because the daycare is closed up. COVID-19 them brought us home. Now you got marriages on. You got to find out if your marriage strong. Because you with her all the time now. You got to learn to get along. Patience will be tested. You say you love them, you got to find out. Oh, COVID-19. I said we can learn something. Parents ready for these daycares to open back up. I know. You're ready, but you've been a parent for a few weeks. Cooking more dinners, preparing more breakfasts, sitting and interchanging thoughts and ideas with your child. I don't know, but you can help me. I can't remember a daycare when I was growing up. Might have been something else. My mama was a daycare. And I know times have changed, I understand that. But some kind of way we got to keep our hands on our children. Because that's who God gave them to you. I know it might not be well liked, but it's well right. Amen. Because if you don't teach them, somebody else going to teach them. If you don't train them, somebody else going to train them. And then somebody else is going to be the enemy. How do you do that? On your knees before God is the greatest position you can be in. When you've done all you know to do when you train, then you go to your knees. Because children, they are heritage of the Lord. Ain't God's seed, baby. He just allowed you to carry them. But that's God's future. And God is able, when you learn to pray and invite him in your life, don't give up on that boy. Don't give up on that girl. I know they may be acting crazy. I know that. I know. But hey, that's what faith is for. That's what the word is for. That's why we fight the good fight of faith. Hallelujah. Let me close. In every responsible mother, there are some things that she wants for her children. Every responsible mother, there are some things that she wants for her children. Number one, she wants emotional health. She wants good emotional health. Second thing, she wants physical health for her children. She wants spiritual health for her children. And also a passion for learning she wants for her children. She wants her children to have good friends, to have joy, to have purpose, to have wisdom, to have hope, and to have love. These are the things that a mother wants. Emotional health, physical health, I'm closing, physical health, passion for learning, good friends, joy, purpose, wisdom, and hope. And lastly, Malcolm X said this in a scene in this movie when he was dating Shabazz at the time. And he was talking to her in that scene of Malcolm X. And he said, the mother is the first teacher of the child. The mother is the first teacher of the child. The message she gives that child gives to the world. The message that she gives that child gives to the world. Amen. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for the mothers. Thank you for the privilege and honor that you have allowed mothers to birth and carry your seed. We thank you for all of the goodness, the glory, and the honor that you will bring upon them this day. We thank you for the word. We thank you for the life of Moses as we saw. And we thank you for the sacrifice that others, mothers, have paid. So many things that we will never know, never see, but they paid and are paying tremendous prices to continue to be the mothers they are. Now, Holy Spirit, we ask you to help the mothers to become all what you would have them to be. Bless them this day. May life, health, and strength be upon them. May grace, great grace be upon them. And those that are going through some dark spots in their life right now, Holy Spirit, I ask you to shine the light of encouragement, of edification. Build them up where they have been torn down. Strengthen them where they're weak. and give them this endurance and the wherewithal to keep doing what they've been doing, so that it will bring glory and honor to you in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, if you don't know Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, it's an excellent opportunity to get to know Him. And through that, I give the invitation. All you have to say is, "Dear God, I believe you sent your only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross for me, so that by believing in Jesus, I can be forgiven of my sins and be redeemed because His innocent blood was shed for me. All you have to say, Lord, I thank you that I repent and confess of my sins. I ask you to forgive me. Come into my heart. I am forgiven and I am born again. And I am a child of God." Now that's the second birth. First birth, mother gave us. Second birth, God gives us. That's why Nicodemus had a problem with and said, "How can I be born a second time? Because I entered into my mother's womb? No, that which is flesh is spirit, is flesh, that which is spirit is spirit." So here's another supernatural transformation, being born again. So that puts us into a position to live life better, and then our purpose in life begins to come ablaze, so we can find out what we're supposed to be doing on this earth. And lastly, before Brother Nathan comes, for those of you out there who don't have a church and you want to give, and we give you an invitation to sow into this ministry. This is good ground, and we would love for you to become a partner with us, because partnership is a frequent relationship between two or more people working together for one common goal. Ephesians 6:8 says, "Knowing whatsoever good thing any man doeth, the same he shall receive of the Lord." So you sow it, let God grow it, and then you reap it. And we are. So Brother Nathan is going to come and give you the many different ways you can give. And as you give your seed today, know that God sees the seed and He can increase the seed. And so we trust that you will do that. And for those of you that have been giving, we thank God for you. And we thank you. Keep on doing what you're doing. And for those that want to partner, we welcome you. This is good ground. Come on, Nathan.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Mother's Day to all. I'm here with the simple ways that you can give to Straight True Faith Church. The first option that we have for you to give is for Cash App, where the address is $STFCINC. Again, the Cash App address is $STFCINC. The second option we have is Venmo, where you can send your giving to the address of STFC-INC. Again, the Venmo address is STFC-INC. The third option we have is for you to mail in your giving to the P.O. Box 310-805, Forestdale, Alabama 35231. Again, the mailing address for your giving is P.O. Box 310-805, Forestdale, Alabama 35231. And lastly, you can deliver your giving on site, where a greeter will be ready to assist you. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Thank God for you. And those of you that are giving, we're going to now receive our tithes and offerings. We pray, Father, we thank you for the opportunity to give into your kingdom. For those that have sown, those that are sown, we thank you that your blessings, your increase upon the seeds that we're sowing. May you multiply and increase them as only you can do. Thank you for the generosity of your people, and thank you for the ground to receive the seed. And thank you for increasing the seed return, so that the people will see that your word, your name, and your word is real. And you are no respecter of persons. And we thank you in advance. To God be the glory. In Jesus' name. Amen. Again, we're happy. I'm standing with my lovely wife next to me. She's been with me a long time. Over 40 years and counting. But we wanted the audience to see you this morning, since it's Mother's Day, and it was a good one. So very nice. And we thank God for it, and thank God for all you mothers out there. Again, we're online on Wednesday night. We were teaching the Word. Welcome you to join us on conference call. We will be back live next Sunday morning doing the same thing again. And so all we're trying to do is equip you to walk by faith. And again, thank God for our graduates. Thank God for Children. Hey, and we want to continue. Hey, Sheriff, this is her coach. God bless you. Praying for you. All is well. And all of you out there, may you have a great, wonderful day, mothers. I hope you were made happy today, or will be made happy later on today. But this is your day, and we celebrate you. And we celebrate the lives of the mothers that are gone on. And we celebrate the lives of the mothers that are here. Because no matter who you are or where you are, it took a mother to get you here. And so we thank God for the precious seed that they are and what they are doing. So may great grace be upon you today. And again, have a great and wonderful day. I'm going to the benediction, and we'll talk to you next Sunday morning. Now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly, now unto him that is able to keep you from falling and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. To the only wise God, our Savior, be glory and majesty, dominion and power, both now and forever. In Jesus'